Well, we'll go ahead and get started now. I have officially 12:01 Eastern Daylight Time. So good morning to those of you in REMAX North Central, which is Wisconsin and Minnesota. And good afternoon, technically, to those of you joining us from REMAX of Indiana and REMAX of New England in our sister regions. Welcome to our REMAX Goes Google Tech Forum webinar. I'm Sarah Westney, one of the technology trainers here in our New England region. We are joined today by our other sister regions and our technology trainers. Tim Nichols in North Central and Keith Pearson in Indiana will also be joining us. But we're really excited to be hosting again one of these tech forums, this time focusing on the inside scoop between the REMAX and Google new partnership that was just announced at the REMAX International Convention this past March. So welcome to our webinar. Your lines are muted for right now, but please feel free to submit questions through your GoToMeeting control panel throughout. And I will be checking those questions, and we can answer them accordingly then. Or feel free to save any comments, questions towards the end, and we can unmute your lines then to have additional discussion, and we definitely encourage that. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this new program. So for now, I would like to just welcome our guest presenters for the session today. Joining us are two experts on this new REMAX Goes Google initiative. We have Nathan Boji. Nathan is the manager with REMAX Classic in Farmington Hill, Michigan. And this office has been really leading the way with this new initiative. They were actually sort of one of the test offices this past year to adopt this new Google apps across their entire office. So Nathan, as the office manager, was helping to spearhead that transition. So we're going to hear from him in just a few minutes. We're going to hand off the controls and hear from him, what some of the ups and downs were of that process, what they see some of the great benefits are of using Google Apps, and hear from him about what that transition was like. We also have joining us today and co-presenting with him will be Jason Etter, who is the account executive with LTech based out of New Jersey. Now, if those of you are still a little bit new to this program and hearing about the Google Apps initiative, LTech is specifically the company that has been chosen by REMAX headquarters, REMAX LLC out in Denver, to be the official partner in providing the Google Apps products and services. So whether you're an individual agent who's looking to subscribe to these Google Apps, or whether you want to adopt it at the whole entire company level for your REMAX office, Jason can really help answer those sort of nitty-gritty questions about the preparation for it, the collaboration, the implementation, and that actual migration of all of your services to Google Apps. So they'll be co-presenting together. I've also asked them to share live a little bit of what they think some of the coolest features of the Google Apps programs are. So they're going to give us a little live demo and a little bit of what they see some of those awesome features being. So again, for those of you who are maybe new to hearing about this program, I just wanted to give a very quick sort of background and summary about the Google Apps initiative. So clearly, Google has become so much more than just a search engine for where you can go to search for anything out there on the internet. They have a whole suite of additional features and tools within Google. And those core apps that you see here on my screen, a lot of you are probably familiar with a lot of these basic core apps. And they consist of Gmail for Business. So this is how you'd obviously communicate with your clients, your team members through email. But in addition, you can also communicate with them now via Gmail using the chat features, voice calls, and video calls to help in that communication. Google Docs will allow you to collaborate for all of your projects and files that you need to save online. So whether you're creating a basic document or a spreadsheet or a presentation, Google Docs allows you to share those files with everybody and allows for real-time sharing, real-time editing of documents so you can be in there with each other to collaborate on certain projects. Google Calendar, you can create all sorts of different calendars within your Google Apps account and set different privacy and sharing levels for those so that you are not overbooking yourself, skipping appointments, canceling appointments. This allows you to create those calendars, whether they're internal calendars within your office for shared spaces or with your clients that you'd like to share and make public, allows you to collaborate with that. Google Sites, this feature allows you to essentially create a website, whether it's something that you'd like to share as a internal workspace, again, for your team members, or if you're maybe working on a fundraiser or a charity organizationship within your community and you'd like to create like a club or a shared space for that. Google Sites will allow you to customize those pages, add different forms, different worksheets to them, and again, it's a shared workspace where you can set privacy levels and allow people to collaborate and share together. Finally here, your Google Plus account will essentially tie in and connect all of these different programs that you have, and on this social network you can share additional ideas and build your relationships across across the industry and across the web. So personally, one of my favorite parts about this program, one of the benefits that I see for REMAX partnering with Google, is the flexibility that it allows. Because you can access all of these features that we just described and more through any web-enabled device. That means you can access it from your laptop, from your tablet, whether you're on a tablet or your mobile device. Anywhere, essentially, you have a web-enabled device, you'll be able to access all of these features. Any place, any time, with any team member. It's going to be here at your fingertips. The other nice feature about all of these is that obviously they will be updated with the latest features that Google offers. So unlike traditional software or hardware programs where you would need to download or upgrade or pay for the latest releases, all of these features will be reflected automatically with the latest and the greatest and the cutting-edge features that Google offers, whether that's based on consumer feedback that they're getting or just what's available out there and what's new out in the technology world. That'll be available at your fingertips with these devices. So a lot of the questions, I think one of the biggest questions that we're receiving since we've launched this program and talked about it are, what's the difference between the Google apps that are free versus the Google apps for business? So I have here just sort of a side-by-side comparison that I wanted to quickly run through, and perhaps Nathan can elaborate further on this. With the Google apps, just that are the free basic Google apps out there, you do have the messaging, the collaboration, and the security with those Google apps. What Google Apps for Business will allow you to do is tap into those additional business apps that are third-party applications within the Google Apps marketplace. So if you're already using tools like DocuSign or MailChimp or Top Producer, there's another feature as well known as Any Meeting, which is very similar to the software GoToMeeting company that we're using now. The business apps in the marketplace for Google Apps will allow you to create essentially your own environment of all of these additional applications that you can integrate back into your everyday business for your list of clients and your contacts. So really it's creating this even larger scope of an environment that you can personalize for you and tap into those additional apps. With that, there's also additional and increased storage space for all of your business features. So you have that added security and that additional storage space, so you don't have to worry about limitations on that. As well as just the business support and reliability. With Google, you'll be able to contact them for technical support and be secure in knowing that you have somebody to reach out to for training and for support when you need it. So to just conclude in that quick summary, the Google apps that we have established here within REMAX is a special guaranteed pricing of $45 per user per year. And with that includes the Google Apps for Business Suite, the deployment and the training with a special pricing and migration and training that LTech offers, in addition to that storage and added security. So $45, and that's for the entire year. I mean, my goodness, it takes $45 now for me to fill my little Mini Cooper gas tank every week on the way to work. So at this very low price, I think this is really exciting for our members. It's a great opportunity to really, I think, take your business to the next level. So with that, I'm going to hand off the controls now off to Nathan so he can tell us a little bit more firsthand about what his experience was making this transition.
Thanks, Sarah.
All right. There you go. Thanks, Nathan.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say thanks to REMAX of New England and Sarah for having me on today to talk about these really great tools. And I wanted to thank Jason and LTech for all of the help that they've given us here at REMAX Classic throughout our transition and getting used to using these tools. It's been really a pleasure working with them. So just a real quick little bit about me. I do, as Sarah said, management here for REMAX Classic, but I'm also an agent. So I experience a lot of the headaches that come along with our business of having to access all of our information and connect with people, all while we are on the road, jumping from location to location, whether it's from office to office or showing houses, meeting with different sellers at their homes. We're always on the run. So whenever we can find things to help us out, that's really great. When I first started selling, I had a little bit of everything. I had file folders in the car, I had an address book, I had laptop, planner, and then the Palm Pilots came along, all that sort of thing. And yeah, it was all there, but it was kind of all everywhere and not very organized. So it's really great to have technology like this. It's really going to help you put all that together so that way you can just sell real estate instead of having to worry about all the other ins and outs. So when we first started looking into this, we had some reasons for changing over. We were on an old Microsoft Exchange system that worked, but it had a lot of limitations. One of the things that we really struggled with was the constant maintenance. Email would go down, the server would break, whatever it might be, and then we'd looked into upgrading it, and the expense was just enormous, more than what we were willing to invest in something that we didn't think we were really going to get everything we needed for. So along came Google Business Apps, really caught our eye, super powerful and very cost effective. And it went with our basic idea of what we wanted. We wanted to just do more real estate and not IT support. And we didn't want the agents to have to worry about if their email was working or they could get to their calendar, their address book, and get phone numbers to their clients. We wanted everybody just to be able to do real estate. So that's part of our big reasons for moving. Early on, yes?
Sorry to just interrupt. It seems that the zoom level on your screen might just be a little bit off. It seems like the lower right-hand corner of your slides are just cut off a little bit.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can fix that. I'm sorry. I would have never noticed that.
Level, but yeah, it just appears that way.
Let's see. What if I switch it to? Let me just change my screen, and maybe that will help it. This screen's probably a little bit big. Sorry, just a moment.
Yeah, that's fine. That's better. There we go.
That's better? Okay, good,
yep,
good.
Thanks. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So to catch back up, so those were our reasons for transitioning, was just becoming more efficient so we could do less of the other stuff and do more real estate. We got connected with REMAX International. Oddly enough, at the same time we were thinking about making this transition, they asked if we wanted to be a beta tester, and it worked out really great through the early stages of the transition to moving to the Google platform. We got connected with LTech, and I have to say, whether you're an individual, an agent, or a team made up of several members, or an office, LTech's a real resource to you. I like to consider myself pretty tech savvy. However, with making sure all of our information was safe and didn't get lost in the transition and all the systems work, it was well worth taking the time and spending with LTech. One of the things I really enjoyed about them is they understand how our real estate business works. They have previous clients in the real estate industry, and when I was talking to them about time frames and how things work and when we're able to take our system down to move, they were really really understanding and worked well with us. One of the things that we really enjoyed was how easy it was to manage groups and to do all of our emailing lists out of it, so we could contact our clients out of one list. We could contact our agents out of another list. If you have staff members, for instance, if you have a set of staff members for your team, or if you're an agent with an assistant, it really allows you to group people together and manage them, send out group emails, and do different types of sharing and collaboration, which I'll get into here in a moment. So some of the things that we really gained that was a great asset to us, one being the collaboration tools that we got. The ability that you have with Google Docs, which Google Docs, the Docs is always funny to me because it's more than just a document editing tool. You get a PowerPoint tool, you get a Word tool, you get a Excel tool. They even have a drawing, which is kind of like a Microsoft Publisher tool, and they're all really fantastic. You can get to them anywhere. I don't know if a lot of the people on the call today are using those or not, but the great part about it is if you're working on something, whether it be a flyer for an open house or a new listing that you might have just gotten, or if you're doing maybe a buyer seminar and you need to coordinate with other members of your group, whether it's maybe some agents you're working with in the office or your team or your assistant, you can do it all right on the Google Docs platform. And share ideas, change different documents around, and Jason's going to demo a little bit of how all this works here, so you'll be able to put some visuals with my words here. And it's easy to communicate with this system. It comes with the Google Chat. You're able to instant message anybody that's on your system. I'm sure many of the people today on the webinar have Gmail accounts, as do most of the people that we end up working with and clients, and you can chat with all those people, so it's great to send quick instant messages. I know myself, a lot of clients text me now. I fortunately have an unlimited text plan, but I know that a lot of those aren't available these days, so you can really rack up some high costs on texting clients and things like that. This is a great alternative that's built right into your Google Business Apps account, and it works really well. I think one of the best things for the real estate community is that the uptime, it's up all the time. If you're out late and doing deals at 10 o'clock, it's going to be working. You don't have to worry about getting into the office. You don't have to worry about it shutting down and the IT support person being unavailable to get you back up and running right away. It's always up. The accessibility, I think, is probably the greatest thing. You can get to your information on any device from anywhere. So whether you have an iPhone, an Android phone, it even will work on Blackberries, which if you have Blackberries, you might want to think about maybe changing. But iPads, the Android tablets, works on Macs, works on PCs. Whether you're in the office or at home at a client's house or possibly on vacation or something, you need to get to your information. It's all right there. For the email portion of it, the spam filter is phenomenal. We were joking the other day here in the office that it's sometimes too good because we do miss a few things, but we catch it and end up finding it. But the spam management is really phenomenal, and that saves you a lot of time too, because you don't have to filter through a bunch of junk while you're trying to get to the important stuff of your day. One of the great things that I really like about it is the cloud storage. All my stuff is in one spot, so I can dump all of my databases, my Excel spreadsheets with my contact information up there. I can have all of my flyers up there for my listings, for my open houses. It's a really great tool that allows you to just have all of your information in one spot. And again, you don't have to be on your computer at your desk or your laptop to get this information. If you have a smartphone, you can get to it there. One of the things I really like doing, I used to, when showing houses, I would print out, if we were going to see 10 houses, I'd print out the listing sheet for all 10 houses, make sure I had all the information, and write down my showing instructions and have all that together. Now I just save those sheets. Instead of printing them out to paper, I print them as PDFs, save them to my spot on Google Drive, and I have them right on my phone or right on my my tablet that I carry around, and it's great. So that we have all the information on there, and if your client has a question about it, you can email them directly the information right off the bat. The other great thing I think for us is the multiple calendars. So if you have a team, for instance, and you want to schedule all the different appointments for all the team members, everybody can see what each team member is doing. If there are, maybe you're the team leader and you have a doctor's appointment that day, and you want the team to know that you're unavailable, but you don't want them to know it's a doctor's appointment, you can set your calendar to show that you are unavailable, but it won't show them exactly what you're doing, which is a really great tool. One of our agents had a great idea. He set up a public calendar, and using Google Sites, he published when all of his open houses are, and put that right on his website, which he advertises. He's had a lot of great success to it, because it allows people to see exactly when all his open houses are, and go from there. One big thing that we seem to get that was kind of the headache, and I know a lot of the stuff I've talked about here has been really positive, but this was the big roadblock for a lot of people, was I use Outlook and I love Outlook, and I don't think I can change. Jason's probably going to laugh, but I have to confess I think I was one of those people, for as tech savvy as I was. I'm kind of used to what I'm used to, and I like it. So, they have a tool, the Outlook Sync tool. It's phenomenal. It allows you to sync up your email, your calendar, and your contacts through your Google Business Apps account right to your Outlook on your computer. So if you really love using Outlook, you don't have to abandon that to use this system. Now, there's going to be some of the tools and benefits that are with the Google Business Apps that you're not going to be able to get with using Outlook, but for your day-to-day stuff, if the Outlook works well for you, great, and then you can use some of the fancier stuff when you actually go to the online portion. It's funny, as much as I was concerned about using Outlook, it worked out really well, that I kind of just weaned myself off of it, and now I barely use Outlook. I'm totally on the online platform. The mail account, which is the Gmail platform, is very easy to use, and we seem to have a lot of people that have kind of had the same thing happen that I did, is they like, well, I don't think I can use Outlook, and they move to it. So if you are a die-hard Outlook person, don't let that turn you off from using this system. You are able to do so. So along with all the things that just come with the Google accounts, the Gmail account, the calendars, the contacts, the sites, you have these thousands of third-party apps. So we're all familiar with hearing about apps for our smartphones. This is the Apple App Store, the Android App Store. Well, there is a Google Business Apps Store that has thousands of different apps that allow you to do everything from streamlining accounting to contact management, and to a couple of my favorites here. As I said before, I do a lot with my clients with text messaging, and what I always wanted to do is send out mass text messages notifying different groups of people about different things. When I'm wearing my manager hat here at the office, let's say we're having an office meeting, and I wanted just to send out everybody a reminder the evening before, I would like to send one text message to everybody instead of having to send a bunch of text messages to a bunch of people. This tool, SMS Communication Manager, allows you to do that. You can send out mass text messages to groups of people. It's really great. You can upload your address book, and you can group it out differently. So you can, let's say you have an address list for buyers, an address list for sellers, an address list for investors. and you want to tell them about different events via text message, this tool does it. The reason I was really impressed with this tool is because it works, it's easy to use, and it's free. If anybody's ever looked into mass text messaging, it's pretty expensive. You have to buy the 5-digit text code. You probably hear people advertising, text us at 55334 to win a car or something like that. Well, that number that they give out is a pretty expensive thing to get a hold of. And to send out these text messages through the SMS Communication Manager, very cost-effective and very easy to use. And it's great. Like I said, I send out for office notifications. I send out notices to the buyer, the list of buyers that I work with about different properties that might interest them for that are coming up for sale. I have investors that I work with. We let them know about different investment classes that we are holding, or different investment opportunities, and for sellers for different tips on selling their house, and spring cleaning this time of year and that sort of thing. So it's really great. Sarah touched briefly on another one of the apps that I really enjoy. It's AnyMeeting. It's essentially GoToMeeting. So it's a comparable product to what we're using today with GoToWebinar. And the really cool thing about this is that they have a really powerful system, and it allows you to meet with anyone on, again, any platform, anywhere. It's very easy to use, and it's free. You can do 6-way video conferencing, so you can share your webcam feed with several others, and you can all see each other's face while you're talking and collaborating on different projects. Great way to possibly work with a a seller that's out of state. Get a little FaceTime with them. That always really helps with enhancing that relationship. Has a screen sharing, just as we're doing here, and you can meet up to 200 people at one time. The reason I give you all those details is I wanted you to understand how powerful it was, and then I'll tell you that it's free with your Google Business Apps account. When you sign up for your Google Business Apps account, at $45 a year, you get all the great things that you already get, but you also get the ability to use these types of tools for free. And then you have one that's probably more familiar to the real estate community is DocuSign, which we all know will allow us to sign contracts and do the electronic signatures and things. It integrates really nicely with your Google Business Apps account. Jason's going to talk about that a little bit more and kind of show the little ins and outs of it a little more detailed. But it's great. With the Google Business Apps account, you can sign in with your Google Apps account information. You don't need to remember any other passwords. And it allows you to send documents directly from your so documents that you might have saved in your Google account allows you to send them right through DocuSign to be signed and executed. So it's a really powerful tool. And Jason and I are going to kind of show briefly a little bit about the AnyMeeting and DocuSign. I think he might have another one he's going to talk about.
That's great, Nathan. And if I can just pipe up with a question too from the audience.
Yep.
And maybe you'll show this when we go live, but where do they actually go to start browsing through some of these apps? Like how do they get into this marketplace?
Yeah, so that's a great question. When you are in your Google Business Apps account, there's a tab at the top. It says More, and actually I can, if you'll bear with me for a second, I'll be happy to show everybody.
Okay.
So just give me one quick moment here. So, whoops, you guys are getting a little peek in my world today.
So under that More tab, there was Find More.
Yeah, and ignore that little second part right there. So, yeah, you can click on the More tab and then Find More Services. Or, if you want, you can go to google.com/enterprise/marketplace. And I think Jason, he will probably touch on this again too. but it's really great. I mean, they have great information about all the different apps that they have in here. For instance, let's just quickly look at the SMS. So here's the program I was talking about, SMS Communication Manager. I won't necessarily go into demoing it, but they give you a good write-up about it and tell you all the different features of it. And then they have, they break. Go ahead.
No, sorry, it looks like this marketplace might be public and open, so it doesn't look like you're signed in yet. So for some people wondering if they can just browse through the app.
Yep, you can. You can just browse through and check it out. To actually use it, and you'll need to be signed into your account. Yeah.
Yeah, to use it, but you can just sort of browse for free and look around.
Yep, absolutely. You can check it all out, and that's kind of what I did before I started using this. Is I went in, I started looking at, okay, what are some of these that I might need, because there's some stuff in here that I might not ever need or use, and so why waste my time going through them if I don't need them, but I can figure out what I want. They have really powerful tools on how to sort through all this stuff on the different categories, and you also have the thing that Google is known for is their search tool. So it's pretty easy to use, and there's a lot of really great stuff in here. One of the hot ones, and I don't know if Jason's going to talk about this one or not, but it's MailChimp. It's a basically direct mail campaign for email. Allows you to do really rich content, email newsletters, integrates directly with your address books that you have in the Google Business Apps account, and they look really nice, and they're very trackable, so you know what your readers are actually clicking on. You might send out a newsletter that has a bunch of information that everybody just kind of ignored, or you send something out that gets a bunch of clicks and people are actually going through and reading the information that you sent out to them, so you know what's effective for your next mailing. Sorry, just a second here.
Great, thanks for showing us that.
Yep. Whoops, sorry. So, sorry, guess we're going to have to do this. There we go. That worked. So, as I said, I looked into some other systems before I really made a jump into the Google Business Apps, and this is kind of what I found. I got all of these different features here, the email, and all the basics, the email, calendar, contacts, documents, the 25 gigabyte storage for my email, the sites, the video, the chat, all of the apps, the nonstop support. And let me just say something quickly about the support. The LTech support is phenomenal. And when I was first getting introduced to Google Business Apps, I was told by a current user that they had an issue with one of the things that they were doing, and they called Google for support, and they expected to be put on hold for minutes on end and transferred to a calling center that they would have trouble getting their problem resolved with. But instead what they found is they called a phone number, and 2 rings, a real person answered the phone and helped them. And I was a little skeptical at that. I thought it was a sales pitch, so lo and behold, through the process I had an issue. I did exactly that, and that was my similar experience. Within a few rings I got a live person and they helped me out. So the support is really phenomenal, and for $45 a year, I mean that's a steal. So I looked at doing a hosted exchange, which would have given me some of the email, the calendar, and the contacts, but it doesn't give me any collaboration with the Google Docs, doesn't give me any of the storage of the sites or the video or anything like that, and it was over $120 a year. And every time I added on a little piece, it went up, and that's $120 for everybody that uses it. So if you have a team of 10 members, you're looking at $1,200 a year just for the basics, when for $450 a year for a team of 10, you get everything plus more, and it's a really great tool. It's how one thing I've learned about the business is that agents know how they do their business and they know what works for them. And at the end of the day, everybody just wants to do more deals and service their clients the best they can and not deal with all the other stuff that we have to deal with while running businesses. So these tools really help you do that. I'm happy to answer any questions at any time for people if they have them. Feel free to contact me at any of my contact information there. And I think I'm going to hand it back to you, Sarah.
Great. We have two questions.
Oh, okay. I'm happy to answer them.
From the same person, so that's great. When you go live, they were wondering if you could show how to create that public calendar for the open houses, if you could maybe just create them of that.
I think I can.
And then the second part of the question was, with DocuSign specifically, is that included, in the $45 for the Google Apps licensing fee? I know, some of these apps have a free, basic level, and then for, premium packages, some of them are at an additional price. So I think it varies from sort of app to app within the marketplace. But I'm not sure if you know specifically.
I can give you a basic idea, but I think Jason's going to touch on this a little bit. For the $45, it does not include the full-blown DocuSign account, but it includes the connection between the two different accounts, so your Google Business Apps account and your DocuSign account, and I think Jason will touch on that a little bit more here. And let me do a calendar demo. So if you can see my screen here, I have different calendars set up, and wow, you guys are really getting a peek into my life here. So you see different calendars that I have set up, and you can see that I turn different calendars on and off that I want to see in my list of calendars, which I'll go back to and show you in a second. I have different notification settings, meaning when different actions happen on these calendars, it notifies me of what I've got going on in different ways. Might be a text message, might be an email, might be a pop-up on my screen. And this is the sharing where it allows you to do allowing it to be public or not. So when you come in and you create a new calendar, you name it. You give it a little description, and you might want to, for instance, I'm going to say Metro Detroit, and you can set up all the time zones. And down here in the bottom, you see where it says share this calendar with others. You can make this calendar public, meaning anybody and everybody can see. See the information that you post on this calendar, and then from there, there's a calendar tool on the site that will allow you to connect it. But this is the gist of how to make it public. If you don't make it public at first, you're not going to be able to share it on your site. So let me see if I can show that quickly. If I can just, oops.
And while Nathan's doing that, just as a pointer too, if you do create a calendar and then suddenly want it to be public and it wasn't before, just going back to those same features that Nathan was showing you in settings, you can just in one quick click, you can actually adjust the settings if you want to. So if you set something up maybe in error, or if you decide later on that you do want to make it public, you can easily do that, or reverse it too.
And then Jason, you can grab calendar URL to then put on as a link to another website or share it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yep. Okay. Yep. So, and that's one of the really great things about how flexible this system is it allows you to really make it your own. And I thought I had one set up here where I can show the link, but let me see if I can quickly do this. I don't want to take up too much time. And I thought I had one on here. I apologize, I don't.
There was another question as well about the calendar. Maybe, Jason, you know this. If there's a way to show that public calendar on Facebook for open houses, if they wanted to link off to it or show that calendar feed, what the best way you recommend having it shown on Facebook would be?
The answer is yes. You actually can do that. And I'd be happy to, you can actually just publish the calendar, just like some of the options you saw that when Nathan was originally setting it up, that actually you can, there's actually an option to publish it. And then, so yes, in short, you can put it on Facebook if you'd like to. And you can also embed it on a website, all kinds of things like that, which is really quite nice. Really make it truly public.
So the calendar that I created, open houses, if everybody can see over here in orange, and let me, so here's this calendar, open houses that I created. So when I came to the little website that I was demoing here, I came to the page that was called calendar, and you can see a little calendar displayed here on the page. And when I go ahead and edit the calendar, edit the page of the calendar, and if you saw the little pencil tool up here, this is how you edit the page. It brings up the different portions of the calendar. So what I did is I clicked on the Google Calendar little place saver that they have here, and you have the little gears, which is the properties and the settings. Then you click on that, and the next page that comes up is how you can edit the different attributes of the calendar. The calendar they have is just a default calendar, but I want to display a specific one, so I click on Display Another Calendar. What happens is it goes out and it looks up all my different calendars, and here is my open house calendar. So I simply toggle that and select, and now you can see down here in the bottom, open houses, which is the calendar, and save. And so today's the 8th. Let's go back to my calendar, and we'll say 123 Main Street open house. Create event. So let's go back to here, and I think I'm going to have to refresh the page. Maybe not. Did I miss something here? Oh, you know what? I probably didn't put it on the right calendar.
Yep, I was just about to tell you. I think you have it defaulted on your actual calendar, not open houses. But this is a good demonstration on how to change the calendar item for different items you may have, one being personal, one being work-related, one being open to the public, such as this open house one that Nathan has created for you.
Yep. So, as I just showed there, I had forgot about the default, and it initially saved to my my default calendar. But what I want to do is to go to the open houses calendar. So change that, save it. We're going to say, you know, Farmington Hill, or we'll call it Colony Park. It's the name of a neighborhood around here. And we'll make it green for spring. Save. So now it's going to save, and if we go over the calendar, let's see if it works for us this time. Just a moment. There we go. There's our 123 Main Street. And as you can see, all of my other calendar features are separate from this. This is the only thing that's public for that particular event. And if I had more details in here, when you click on the event itself on the calendar, it's going to bring up and show you know, your calendar and where it can fit in, and it collaborates, you know, really well. He's had a lot of really great success for it, and it was easy for him to set up. And what was the other question, Sarah?
Well, there's another one that says, can you show us this calendar on your site? I'm not exactly positive. But Bob, can you specify what you mean by that? Do you know what he means by that, Nathan?
So just in the case that if he actually wants to embed his website, so this is a site that Nathan has created through Google Apps through the site's creation. But if the person that's asking the question actually has a other website that they've created, absolutely, you can embed the calendar onto a other website non-Google related, just like you can on Facebook. You can actually embed that.
Okay, so I think they were just asking how do they do that, like how do they embed it?
Jason, do you think we got time for that?
I don't know if we have time for that, but I can definitely send you some instructions. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of there's information out there. Honestly, if you just type Google search, embed Google Calendar on site, I'm almost 100% certain you'll find the information I would send you, but I'd be happy to send that to you as well.
Yeah, Bob, maybe we can just follow up with you separately offline with some, step-by-step instruction for how to do that. And Jason, did you guys have any other apps that you wanted to demo live, or?
I was hoping to do a real quick run-through. I can just kind of do my tour, if you will. If either Nathan or Sarah, if you could just hand me over the presenting capabilities, and I'll kind of
transfer that
whirl through.
over to you. I'll transfer that over to you, Jason.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So as you can see, I'm already in Calendar, just like Nathan was as well. And then right here, I have other calendars that I can view. So if I wanted to see if some of my colleagues were available, I can just click their name and see what they're doing, see what kind of availability they have throughout the day, or even fun things like I can see when the New England Patriots are playing, of course, if I'd like to see what their schedule's like. I have other calendars as well that I've created, just like, training for a marathon, so I put that up here too, and I can choose to remove that or show it at my discretion. And I won't really get into Calendar. I think Nathan did a nice job. It does a really nice job of inviting people, showing availability, things like that. What I wanted to just jump into real quick is mail. So here is Gmail, right? So the way that a lot of people are more familiar with looking at a standard web mail interface, and I wanted to kind of preset this up just to show you how similar this can be to Outlook if you're actually an Outlook user already. I have my preview pane here on the right-hand side along with my messages on the left, and I'm able to select them, and it'll actually highlight what they are. I can expand the messages and then collapse them as I go through the message as well. What's really nice about with Google is I have over here, I have it actually has a little profile information about the person that's associated with this message. But what's nice is you see there's actually 3 people associated. So I have Brett, I have Joseph, and Austin, and myself, of course, just included. And I can go to any of these people to grab their information. And also, like if I wanted to reply to Austin about this specific message, I can click on this button right here, and it actually gives him a direct link to the message that I'm talking about. So if I say, hey, Austin, what's the status on this? He would actually have a link to this and know exactly what I'm talking about. I can email him directly about this too, or even call him directly from this number to his house. It also shows me related documents and emails that are related to Austin as well that we've corresponded with of lately. Pretty neat stuff. And then as Nathan pointed out too, you have Google Search, right? You have the greatest search appliance in the world built into your mail, your communication, your documentation, calendaring, all that. So if I got a message that maybe had the word Starbucks in it, I just type in Starbucks, and this is pulling all the different messages I have of recent that had the word Starbucks in it. As you can see here, here's the word Starbucks here, and they're all put through here. And this is the actual message I wanted to show you. Which is kind of nice. As you see here, there's Starbucks. It's actually highlighted, and it even shows that there's an address in this message. Well, because Google is associated with maps, they're very good at that. As you see right here, there's a map of where Starbucks is. It also gives me, I can get directions directly to there if I'd like to. And it has a zip file, and this is where I wanted to take you guys over. I know we have limited time, so excuse me for rushing, but I wanted to take you right from here into Google Drive, which is, Google's new way of looking at your file storage. Where are your documents, your photographs, your documents, your Word documents, your spreadsheets, your presentations, all that information, or just files that you need to put somewhere and have accessibility to it anytime, any place, anywhere, from any device. And that's exactly what Google Drive has. But as you see in this email, we have this zip file, right, that came in with it. So instead of having to download it and then extract it, and make sure I have like a licensed application on my computer that I'm using at the time to see these photos, I can actually just click View, and it takes me to a web browser. Now remember, everything I'm showing you is 100% in a web browser. And all this right here, these are actually all the contents of the zip file. So if I wanted to, and I knew in the zip file I just needed that this one image here and this image here, I can just click on it and either save it directly to my drive or just download it as I need to, depending on what I want to do. One little click and I'm there. I don't need any extra applications or anything installed or anything like that. Another thing that's kind of cool too here, and I use this regularly, is chat. So I mentioned earlier in the message with Austin that I can have a chat with him if I wanted to by just clicking here, but I can also add others that are using Google too. So for example, Nathan, if I just forgot his email address, but thankfully, thanks to Google, I just type in Nathan in here, and it's going to start pulling all the different messages I've had with the word Nathan in. Apparently, I have a lot of Nathans that I talk to, so it might take a second to search for it. So I'll just try. Here he is. There's Nathan, and there's his email address. And what I'm going to do is try to start a chat session with him. So I'm actually just going to paste that in there and say, hey, I would like to invite him to chat. And now Nathan, because I know Nathan has Google Apps for Business, will get a little notification from me and says, would you like to talk with Jason? And I believe he just accepted it, and there he is. So now I can actually have a chat with him. So I can just go, hey, Nathan. There he is, which is great. Another thing, too, is there's a lot of neat features built in here. So let's say Nathan and I had a bit of a language barrier. Maybe he spoke Spanish, and that's something that, I wasn't able to do that. I can just go, hi, Nathan. How are you? And automatically it translates it for me, which is pretty wild stuff. And it works vice versa, too. And I can even do another one if I wanted to. Let's say Nathan spoke Chinese. I could do that as well and go, hi, Nathan. Thanks for helping. And as you can see, it also does it in both Spanish and in Chinese as well. So I can get a lot of really cool functionality built into here. Another thing that's nice too is I can actually start a video chat with him if I wanted to by just clicking video. I just click right here, and it might be a little slow because we're also using GoToWebinar. But there's me. My apologies. And I'm having a little phone call with him right now. And this is completely baked in, built into how Google Apps for Business works and functions. This is something that is completely included. And I may have a phone call with him. I can call him directly on his cell phone. I can call him on his computer, which he and I did just yesterday. Or I can start a video chat with him as well, just like I am right now. Very nice, very easy, and simple to do. He also talked about an application called AnyMeeting. So I'm actually in a meeting right here, which is part of Google Apps. So what I did was, if I wanted to invite Nathan to this, I could just go right here and then just click, put that address in there and go, hey, or hi, Nathan. Please join me. And I send him an invitation. He gets the link. And then that says that it was sent, and then I can actually do very similar. Now, the difference between this and what we were just showing you is there is screen sharing capabilities, just like you're seeing now. And then you can have multiple people at the same exact time, which is really quite nice. Let me just click on that, and all I have to do is just let my computer know that I'm okay with doing this. And we should be good to go. And you're able to have this conversation and communicate very quickly and easily. We also discussed some other functions. Now, in addition to this free tool, there's also Google+, which is something that's actually part of the Google Apps Suite as well. So Google+ is actually something that's really quite neat. I can actually show you my my work Google+ by just clicking right here. I click on Google+ right here. And it's my LinkedIn, my Facebook, my Twitter, all pulled into one location right here. I can actually start a Hangout if I wanted to. There's Nathan again, and which is pretty wild. I'm able to do that very quickly and easily by just clicking on Nathan, and I can actually start a Hangout and call him again, or I can even go a step further and share my screen and have multiple people on there. But like Nathan was talking, if you wanted to have a conversation with multiple people at the same time, you would use something like that AnyMeeting, which is easily accessible by just clicking on the application through here, which would just go to More, and you'll be able to go to AnyMeeting right there. And these are all the different applications that I have access to directly through my connection with my account here, which is really quite nice. So let's go back to Docs, or Drive, if you will, which we were talking about earlier. And this is my Google Drive. So I've created this folder right here for you. So it's called Agents. And in here I have Betty, Mary, Susan, and Tony. And let's go to Tony, for example. And let's say this is a proposal for a home inspection, or maybe purchasing a house, something like that. And I need to sign this. I'm the broker of my agency, and I need to sign this for Tony so we can move forward. So I can actually click on this right here, go to More, and actually open it with DocuSign, which is crazy. These are all these different programs that are associated, baked into Google Drive now. So all these different applications have accessibility to, sign a document, create a document, and you have to set it up for how you need to use it, just like you normally would. But you don't have to now go to another location, have another thing installed on your computer. This is all completely integrated with Google Apps for Business. And as was the question earlier about, what kind of, how much does it cost? And, that depends on the level of service you want. So for DocuSign, for example, I have a free account just for testing purposes. And I can sign a document now if I'd like to. And it's completely, it just prompts me and says, hey, do I want to sign in as my, through my Jetter account? I say yes. And then it automatically logs me in. And then I'm able to sign a document. I just click on Sign a Document Now. And I can actually choose an online document. I can choose, oh, I apologize, I clicked on the wrong button. I can just choose Google Docs, go to my documents, and then all my documents that I have right here are completely accessible. So if I wanted to sign this particular document, I click Add, and it actually opens that document, and I can sign it right here if I'd like to. And there it is. Yep, that's the one I wanted to sign. Great. And I'll just click Sign right here. Opens it up just like it normally would, but again, it's pulling this information directly from my Google Docs Drive. So all this information, if I wanted to sign this right here, I agree to this statement, boom, there it is. There's my signature. And I can click Finish, and I can actually send it directly from here to whoever I need to, which is pretty good stuff. And I can add multiple recipients if I'd like to as well. Another person talked about MailChimp. So again, I've signed in here, as you see right here, completely through my Google application login credentials. And so I'm able to create a list, design a form, and send out an entire campaign. This is completely free as well. And there are updated versions or Premier editions if you'd like to have more functionality and features, but I can still do this right here 100% from the web. And that's what I really wanted to highlight for you. There's other applications out there too, like if I wanted just to create something, I can create a document directly from Google Drive. So I can just start typing away rather than just storing it. I can actually start in the cloud and just go, hi guys, this is Jason. And what's really nice is very quickly, I just click right here, I click on Share, and I can actually add Nathan to this as well, because Nathan's also and I'll add Susan, and I'll just save that right away. And so those are going over. An invitation to this document is now being sent over to Susan and Nathan, and they click it open, they see the document, and then we're able to collaborate in real time. As you can see right here, there we go. We have one other viewer right here. So as I'm typing, this is Jason, typing away, you're able to see everything that I'm talking about.
So Jason,
yes.
One other question that came in, someone asked, and I kind of have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but asked
Sure.
if you recommend switching from Dropbox to Google Drive now, what sort of the pros and cons or like side-by-side comparison might be.
Sure. Yes, you're correct in assuming that what I'm going to answer, which is yes. You absolutely should. Every Google Apps for Business account user gets 5 gigabytes of storage space for non-Google related material. If you create something in Google, it doesn't actually count against your storage space. So that 5 gigabytes is for all those PDFs and for those Excel documents. Hey, there's Susan, and other things like that you're able to add. And Dropbox is great. I've used Dropbox. I love Dropbox. It was good to store information. But with Google Drive, not only can you store the information and view, I think there's like 30 different types of, like I think Photoshop. If someone sends you a Photoshop file, you can actually view that in Google Drive. It'll actually show you what it looks like. You can even do keyword searches for images. Like if I have a photograph of Mount Everest, it'll search for that just by me clicking right here, Everest. I don't have a photograph in here, but I will have to do that later on because I just found out about that yesterday. I didn't know that. If I had pictures of balloons, I just type balloons, and it'll actually do keyword searches and looking for it for me. See, I don't have anything in there. I have to add some stuff, so it'll be able to do that, which is pretty wild. But there's just so many features like that baked in. And unlike Dropbox, I can create directly from here. I can create a form if I wanted to, a drawing, a spreadsheet, a presentation. All these things I'm able to do directly from the web. Nothing is installed except for my web browser. That's all I need is a web browser, and I'm immediately creating, collaborating, and sending and sharing. So that was my whirlwind tour. I know we just went 1 minute over, and I was trying to do as much as I could really quickly.
No, that's great. We've still got some great questions coming in. For those of you who do have to jump off, I just want to remind you, go to remax.ltech.com. Maybe you can open that, Jason, in your browser. Some people are wondering how they can sign up.
Yep.
It's remax.ltech.com, and that'll have frequently asked questions, flyers, and you can get started right from there.
Great.
Jason, another question that came in, some people were just showing too, was they wanted to know if they could start collaborating on an advertisement with a local news publication, if that would be possible, and if they could collaborate on that ad together, share it.
Sure, I don't see why. I mean, it just depends on what type of file format it is. So, for example, let's say it was a PDF. So I'll just go, let's look for a PDF file. And here's a Go Google or poster, right? So let's pretend this is the advertisement. And let's say, for example, that your, let's see here, file, I can open it with SlideRocket, different things like that. And I can actually, I could actually go in here and add comments and things like that, depending on, and we can go back and forth if you'd like to. If you want to actually edit the file, you can create a drawing. I'm not really sure. It depends on what file formats you're using with your advertiser, but I don't see why you couldn't start it in Google Docs and then use Drive to store it and then, add comments and things like that. For example, if let's say this SOW draft was what the advertisement looked like, and then you shared it with your advertiser, I could highlight this and then add a comment and say, hey, Chuck, fix this.
And then the question is, does that recipient who you're sharing it with need to have a Google account or need to have Google Apps for Business? That's where people are unclear, like, how do you get it to that other person?
Sure, that's the beauty of it. So if you choose to share this document with others, for example, I have multiple people that have access to this. I can actually, here, let me start a fresh one just so it's easier to show in the demonstration. So this one we were using right here, if I click on share, right now it says it's private. That's my default. But if I want to share this outside, even people that don't have a Google Apps account, like my advertiser, like maybe a home buyer or maybe someone doing the title for the house, you can actually click anyone with the link, and then you have the option to say, and then right here it says anyone, no sign-in required. So we can actually have, you can either have people comment or they can edit if you want to. I recommend if you're going to share it outside and it's a document you created and you want to share it with people that you don't really want them to edit it, but you don't mind their input, say add comment, and they can redline the document for you. You can make those changes in real time. So they'll be able to log into that document, see it, add those comments, and then you can actually edit it. Or if you want, you can give them editing access too, which is pretty great. Does that answer the question?
Have all those options. Yeah, I think that does.
Great.
Yeah, keep entering questions, and they said yeah. Great. Well, I just wanted to thank everyone so much. I'm actually going to show my screen again just to bring up our contact information for our regional trainers. Jason, do you want me to take back? Okay.
There we go. Just gave it to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jason and Nathan, so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was extremely informative, great for us. There was a lot of great questions, and I think some interest on how to get started next and what some next steps are. If you have any further questions, please feel free to email us in our regions in New England. My email address here is swesney@remax.net. In North Central, your regional trainer would be Tim Nichols, tnichols@remax-nc.net. And in Indiana, your regional trainer is Keith Pearson. You can email kpearson@remax-indiana.com. And again, you would just go to remax.ltech.com to find out more. And I'm going to email out to everybody just some links to some frequently asked questions and flyers as well. So I'm just going to send that to the audience now. You should see these links come up. So you can grab those links now if you'd like. We did record the whole webinar, so we will be sharing that with all of the regions and posting that on our different websites as well if you'd like to record another version. But thanks, everyone, so much for your time. We'll stay on the line a couple minutes longer in case anyone has additional questions. Feel free to enter those now. Okay, one question that came in, Jason, was if I want to use any meeting with others, do they have to have a Google Business account? Maybe Nathan or Jason.
No, I have not experienced them having to have a Google, but like a guest, for instance, somebody that's going to attend your webinar. No, I have not experienced that.
They don't have to have their own account, so you just basically email them like the link and the time and the phone number, and that's how they join, so they don't need to have an account.
Right.
That is correct.
And I'm just going to check with one other person, see if they're still on. I was emailing or chatting with her earlier. Mary, are you still on the line? I just unmuted your line.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Okay. I don't know if all your questions got answered regarding the calendars. Are there any?
Yep, they did answer it.
Oh, they did. Okay. Great. Well, I think that's everything. Thank you guys again so much. It's certainly lunchtime here in New England.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. Thanks a lot, Jason. It's good.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and I'll be following up with some individuals privately with some additional questions that they sent. But if anyone has any questions or feedback, again, please feel free to email us, and we'll get back to you. Thank you, guys.
Maybe.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
I have to double check.
Bye.
I have to do some changes.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Yep.
Oh.